Welcome folks, we've been in the rain since Saturday night. Today's Wednesday, it finally quit and we had a little bit of sun around 6 o'clock. But I want you to look in the sky there. What are you seeing over the top of that tree? They've already started again. Looky here. This one came over. You could see it a little bit better a little earlier, but it's starting to disperse up in the atmosphere. But there's another one, and they just won't leave it alone. And they're calling for more rain all the way till Saturday. Now I'm gonna zero in right here is 2 more, and they're contributing to the Charlie Lima Indigo Mike Alpha Tango Echo. We need to add the word change to the end of it, and this is what is causing all the problems, all the severe storms, all the big hailstorms, all the big thunderstorms, all the heavy rain, all the flooding is all attributed to this. People can say what they want to, but if you'll keep looking up, you'll see what we're talking about if you're new to the channel. And a lot of you news outlets is still trying to play this off and say this is not happening, but it is happening. It's finally being talked about on a lot of the YouTube channels now. RFK's been addressing it and saying he's wanting to put a stop to it. So I just wanted to drop this out there and tell you what's going on. Now the video that's following this, I'm going to show some stuff in my garden. And we've not had any sunlight now for almost 7 days, except for that little bitty bit we had around 5:30. And but you can see we got I call it a carpet of clouds hanging over. It's just an old haze, and tomorrow is supposed to be another chance of rain. And my garden's growing, but I'm afraid with the lack of sun and the lack of temperatures and things that we're going to have some issues with the produce not forming correctly, maybe stunted growth because of no sunshine and too much rain. This can cause a big problem with inconsistent watering on the tomatoes and cause the tomatoes to have blossom end rot and things like that. And that's something that we don't want to have to deal with, because last year we had the same issue. We went with a big dry spell for 9 weeks, and we were trying to water and string it along, but when the tomatoes get into a point and they're needing that water and they're not getting it, and you get to a point where you're scared to water with the well, you don't want to do that because of all of the the water situation. You don't know how much that is left in that aquifer feeding your well, so you don't want to run it dry. So folks, I'm going to show you the garden and be following this video, and I appreciate you watching, and keep your head up so you'll know what's going on above you. And I see a lot of comments where people saying, yeah, they're spraying here, they've been spraying here, and we're getting a lot of rain and this, that, and the other. So people's aware of it, and if you don't believe it and you're new to the channel, just keep your eyes peeled, folks, to what's going on. You'll see these streaks, these long streaks in the sky, and you just watch. 2 or 3 days later, you're gonna get that rain. And if you notice in the trees, especially in the mountains, they're starting to look kind of blistered. The new leaves are already starting to look blistered, like they're dying from lack of rain, but it's all these chemicals that are in this stuff they're spraying, and it's starting to kill stuff. And I've noticed so far, I've only seen 2 honeybees in my garden, and that's it. And last year when the squash was blooming, I had so many bees, I had to watch how I was timing my times to go in there to pick my squash. So I appreciate you folks joining. I hope you'll stick around and watch the video on the garden, and y'all have a blessed evening. So folks, showing you those streaks later in the evening has now resulted in this. And this is only about an hour later. We've got all of these, I call it carpet clouds, or just old gray, low hanging, dingy looking clouds. We don't see those big white puffy cumulus clouds. We don't see the cirrus clouds hardly anymore. It's just this old gray, dull looking mess that's coming from all of this overhead spraying. They're spraying us like roaches, folks. We've put a video out entitled that, and we also put another one out right behind it that you can go back and check out, that shows all of this stuff and gives them information, good information about all this, for especially for you new viewers, new subscribers to the channel. We're following this with the garden video. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching, folks. I appreciate you joining me today. Looky here, we're gonna have some more squash tomorrow. I've already pulled one. I wanted to get it pulled before it got too big. And we've got some coming on, and I'm telling you, when they start, it's gonna be a tremendous amount of squash. Now, you can see the cage there. That's what I started running them up in, so they'd be vertical. You can see how they're hanging from the air. The plants is getting plenty of air. I do have a bug in here that's chewing on my leaves a little bit. I did get it off. It was some sort of a ladybug, and it's been real busy laying eggs in here too. And I've been getting them off and crushing them in my fingers. And I'm gonna have to go in here, as you can see, and I'm gonna have to get some Sevens dust on this stuff to kill it, because it has been laying plenty of eggs. But I've only seen the one, but that means there's got to be another one around here. And but I got it off. There's also a little leaf damage going on my okra. It's probably the same pest that's on my squash. So anyway, Holly was able to find on the internet what kind of a ladybug this is. Evidently it's an invasive type, and you can only get rid of it by a neem oil or Sevens dust. So I'm finding the eggs, and I'm crushing the eggs on my fingers on the leaf, just crushing the eggs, rolling them up, trying to not damage the leaf any more than I can help, and that type thing. We're over 4 gallons of strawberries, folks, just so you know. And I'm gonna tell you what, we getting some good size strawberries. Just look in there. Look at them things. Nice looking strawberries. Nice looking strawberries. Thanks for watching, folks, here on Deep River Farm. It's been raining since Saturday night. Today is Wednesday, and it's no better. Chances of rain all the way through Saturday. They sprayed us last Thursday and Friday. I mean to tell you, the skies was streaked, and it started raining late Saturday night, and it has not stopped until this afternoon. And I thought I would run out and try to get my tomatoes tied up as best I can. Looky here at my wildflowers. They're starting to bloom. I did see 2 honeybees. That's all I've seen. 2 honeybees. And I'm telling you, folks, all this spraying that they're doing up in the air, all this stuff that's causing this, is killing the bees, is killing us. I'm hearing a lot of people already having trouble with their garden stuff dying, and but it's all because they're putting all this stuff in the air. And let me tell you something, folks. It got down to 47. I believe it was Friday morning or Saturday morning here. The temperature has not been above 70 until today, and we have reached 72. And they said tomorrow we might get into the 80 to around 80, but our crops are at a critical point here right now, folks, and we're needing some sunshine in order for this stuff to harvest. The cool temperatures, the lack of sun, and all this rain, I mean just tons of rain, is not going to help us any at all. So folks, I appreciate you joining me here today on Deep River Farm. I'm getting aggravated with all this spraying because it is starting to affect my plants. Last year, this variety of plants that I've got here was head tall by now. We're at least 2 feet shorter than we were last year. And as you can see, right there's my first tomato that I just spotted. And hopefully we won't get blossom end rot with all this rain on them. We got a lot of blooms there, but no bees. That's the problem. And I'm afraid all this rain's going to be detrimental to the pollination of the flowering blooms here for the bees, with it being so damp and wet, and not have a very successful tomato crop or anything else. I have not seen any blooms on my beans or anything yet, but I do see the pods. I do see the pods right there. You see the pods? That's going to be our bean pods. But they have not bloomed yet. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining today, folks, here on Deep River Farm, as we're trying to get, nothing we can do about it, trying to get some heat and some sunshine on our tomatoes and our beans, squash, strawberries, and all that good stuff, or we're not going to have a very good season. Thanks for joining, folks. So folks, the object with all this spraying is to create the, I guess you'd say, try to fool people into thinking that there is a real issue with the temperatures. Right now, with all this overhead spraying that's going on, they're blocking out the sun. And with this happening, it's creating problems with the crops. All the chemicals are killing the plants. The amount of aluminum that is in the soil is going to be detrimental to the plants. It corrodes stuff. People wonder why their paint on their cars starts peeling off the clear coats. Well, folks, that is what is causing the majority of it. A lot of them say, well, the manufacturer just didn't put it on and let it heat correctly and all that. They do the same treatment to every car. But some of them wind up having issues. And a lot of that's got to do with it being parked out a lot in the elements. And with that happening, the heat and all of the chemical spraying and stuff, it just sets on the vehicles. And that's what's causing, I think, a lot of the paint problems with that chalky look. And then all of a sudden you'll see it start bubbling up and popping off and flaking off, and it looks like wax paper. And I think a lot of that's coming from that overhead spraying that's going on. But we're really starting to worry about our produce, because my tomato plants are roughly 2 foot shorter than they were this time last year. I've only got 1 tomato showing up right now. They were all planted at the same time in the garden. However, I started some of them in January the 31st. That's the bigger ones. I started them in the winter sowing. and placed them outside. They went through the snow, the ice, the cold temperatures, and then when it got warmer, I started covering them, moving them out of the frost when they popped out and came up out of the soil, and I kept them covered during the night and set them out during the day, and that way they could harden off. And then the rest of them I planted a little bit later in cups, and they're my late tomatoes. And I can tell a big difference in the sizes right now of those tomatoes, and it's an incredible difference in the size that they were from last year. And this year I've even went through and added chicken manure that I didn't add last year, because I had put the chicken manure on the year before. So they've got a really good soil base, really good fertilizer in there. They've got a really good phosphorus and calcium and carbon in there with the hydrated lime and all that stuff that's been mixed in this soil. It's a great mix right now and tastes really great. And so we should be seeing some stuff. And I think a lot of it's got to do with the lack of sunshine that we've been getting, and is already starting to affect the plants. And the whole thing in a nutshell, folks, is the goal of the global elite is to have you meatless. They want you to eat bugs and this lab-grown garbage, and you not have any fresh meat, no beef, no poultry, turkey, chicken, no pork. They want you to go eating bugs. If you don't believe it, just listen to Bravo, Indigo, Lima Lima. You know who it is, tied in with, used to be the big guy at Microsoft. So you just listen to what he says. He is for population control and making you eat bugs. I appreciate you watching today, folks. Have a blessed day.